Hello, everybody. There you
You were supposed to go in and introduce me, but no.
I was like completely not prepared for that. Here, let me turn you off on my other phone here.
Yeah, yeah, let me lower the volume. We were like, oops. I'm sorry on my phone too. Oops.
We're both a
Anyways,
mess, guys. We're both a
it
mess.
feels weird not
It's
having Bobby here, so
not only
clearly
that,
he's
it's
needed.
Friday. It's not
Mm-hmm.
Thursday. So, but yeah,
Totally.
we had some technical Mercury retrograde issues happen yesterday, which is
Since
like
yesterday.
normal. It's been happening. So we had to postpone it to Friday night, but everybody, thank you for being here on a Friday night.
Definitely. I'm honored to be back again. Welcome to Behind the Moon, a special edition. Unfortunately, our brother and friend Bobby is not with us today, only today. So
Mhm.
he asked me a few weeks ago if I could step in, so just the show can continue
Mhm.
and just be a special guest to fill in. Those are big
Yeah.
shoes to fill, so I hope I do him justice. We definitely need him, and I'm honored to be here with my sister Celina from Essence of the Moon. We're simulcasting through three different channels: my channel Moon Scarab, the channel
Mhm.
Essence of the Moon, and the channel Wild Raven Tarot, which is Bobby's channel. And tonight
Yes.
the topic is Extraterrestrial Bible. Hmm.
Yes.
Before we go into that, and I'll explain a little bit what is the essence of the topic, we're going to stop
Mhm.
for a second to say hi to the people who are visiting us tonight.
Yes. Thank you everybody
Um,
for stopping in again. Do you want, I mean, I don't have the capabilities anymore. We handed them over to you, so I can't like click on anybody's names.
what? Really? So I have the
No.
power.
You do. You have all the power. It was all
Oh
taken away from
no.
me so that you can have it and give us your, full biblical interpretations of today's live. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we have Tapestry of the Unseen. Great to see
hi
you. Thank
Lila.
you for being here. I'm going backwards because we have some comments from yesterday. Still, we'll acknowledge
Mhm.
them, but just in case you're not here, I still want to say hi. Silky Steel, Jan, great to see you.
Hey,
Thank you for
hey
being
Jan.
here. Great to see you. Let me just scroll
I know
down.
Jan was here and she was here yesterday
Mm-hmm.
messaging in the chat.
Tapestry of the Unseen. Say
Mhm.
hi. How are you? Sarah Tarot and Oracle.
Hey
Great to see you.
Sarah.
Thank you for being here. We have Draven Michael. Hello.
Hey Draven.
Great to see you. Anita
Mhm.
K. Thank you for
Hola
stopping
Anita.
by. Hola, Anita. Who else we have? Bobby. How weird.
Oh,
Yeah, it is
yeah.
weird that you're not here.
I know it's very weird.
Annie Berger.
Hey
Hello.
Annie.
Great to see you, Annie. Thank you for being here. Debbie, Three Shifting Veils.
Hey
Thank you
Debbie.
for being
Welcome.
here. Witchy's best
Oh,
friend.
Jess. Hi, Jess.
Yes. Hello. The Soul Reflection.
Oh, that's who
Hello.
I was just telling you about. This deck.
Oh,
That's her
really?
creation. Yeah. Hi.
Oh,
Welcome.
nice. Yeah,
Welcome,
she was showing me
Nadine.
backstage some
Yeah,
of
I
the
was just
images.
backstage showing him the deck, and we were talking about this deck in past life, and I was showing him some of the cards. So, yeah, welcome.
Amazing. Beautiful work.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful work.
It is very
Yes.
beautiful.
Mm-hmm. We have Red Eagle. Hello, Red Eagle. Great to see you. Thank you for being here.
Hello, that's
Who
Irma's
else?
husband. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Irma. Irma's here too.
Irma's here, Irma West. Great to see
Yes.
you. Thank you for stopping by. And I think that's it. We have 16 people watching so far.
Wonderful.
And yes. And like I mentioned, today's topic, the title is
Mm-hmm.
Extraterrestrial Bible. And it's not that the extraterrestrials have a Bible. What we're exploring are cases in the Bible that could be manifestations of extraterrestrial contact. Um, why? Because, it's people in the Bible, they were explaining the world around them in terms of what they knew, the words, their
Mhm.
vocabulary, etc., and might not be able to understand the technology or the events that were happening. So they try to, like I said, describe it in the best terms that they could. So we're going to explore different cases in the Bible that could possibly be that. Does it sound right?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just
So,
commenting.
yeah, someone was saying wheels within wheels. Yes, that's a very common
Yes.
description. We hear things like the glory of God or fire,
Mhm.
rumble, wheels within wheels, like in Ezekiel's case. But there's a lot into this book. Um, Disclosure, the whole idea of this is not to discredit the Bible.
Mhm.
This is just being this topic is being exposed in a respectful way. We're analyzing not necessarily as a religious book, but more as
Mhm.
a historical book, because that's what the Bible is too. It's not only a collection of spiritual beliefs and experiences, but it's also a historical book looking back to a certain culture, a certain time in which they describe the world that was around them, right? The Bible
Correct.
is not necessarily mythology, right? What if the Bible is the oldest extraterrestrial contact record in human history? What if ancient people described advanced technology only using the vocabulary they had? Like I mentioned, wheels,
Mhm.
fire, smoke, glory. And tonight we're going to examine the Bible like aerospace engineers, not like medieval theologians, right?
Yep.
What is the best example to understand this topic and these descriptions?
Mhm.
What if I brought my great grandmother or your great grandmother to the world today? If you took things like a Starlink dish, an iPhone, a Tesla Cybertruck, a laser pointer, earphones, right? Earpods, and you hand
Mhm.
it to your great grandmother in 1780. How would she describe it? She's not going to describe it as a tech reviewer. She will describe it in the terms that she would understand based on her world. Things like, for example, to describe a Tesla Cybertruck, maybe she would say it's a silver beast with no horses that obeys silent commands,
Yeah.
right? An
Correct.
iPhone. How would my great grandmother describe an iPhone? Maybe she will say it's a
Mhm.
small glass talisman that shows living
Mhm.
pictures and speaks when touched, right? Things like AirPods, right? Earphones. She will
Mhm.
describe them possibly as earmuffs that block the world and bring music from nowhere directly into the mind.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
A laser pointer, right? She will describe it maybe as a wand of red fire that moves around as you
Mhm.
handle it, you know, like a needle red fire across the room, things like that. Or a
Yeah.
laptop, like a
Mhm.
folding book of glowing ink that thinks faster than men.
Mhm.
All these technologies, if we look at from a different point of time, we will describe it definitely in a different way, you know. Or a microwave, for example. How would
Mhm.
they describe? Maybe like a box that cooks with no fire at all.
Or
There's
even
like
a
so many.
plane. Yeah.
A plane, like a
How would
flying
they see a
bird.
plane back in the
Uh,
early, 1400s?
mhm. Yes, yeah. So imagine
Mhm.
people in the Bible like Ezekiel trying to describe the things that they were seeing,
Yeah.
crafts. And it's we might fall in the error, in the mistake of judging people in the past describing a future technology. It's hard sometimes us to be able to describe or understand technology from the past. And
Mhm.
the example, and this is a personal example that happened to me. I was talking with a coworker. She's 20 years old, and no, less than that. She was 18. This was recent. And I was trying to explain to her what a cassette was. This is a person that was born in a time in which music is streamed.
Hmm.
Don't forget download music. That's kind of like passe. We're talking about streaming music. So trying to explain to her the concept of the physicality of being able to enjoy music was very difficult. So I was trying to explain to her what a cassette was, and I was, trying to use terms that she will understand. I would say it was like
Yeah,
this small plastic box, smaller than your iPhone, that had a ribbon inside, a magnetic ribbon, and she was like, "What's a magnetic ribbon?"
I know.
I said, "Well, if you think about like the credit cards on the back, that's a magnetic
Hmm.
ribbon, a magnetic strip." And she was like, "Oh, I don't use credit cards. I use my iPhone to pay." So like trying to, just for her, it was difficult to wrap
Yeah,
her head around the fact that you had to like rewind physically music to be able to go back and
with
forth.
a pen or a pencil.
Yeah,
That you had
definitely.
to, if your
Hmm.
ribbon got loose, you had to use that to wind it back up again.
Oh my God. Yes. Or like twisted
Or
around.
like
Yeah.
Blockbuster, make sure you rewind your
Hmm.
VHS before you returned it.
Yeah, definitely.
Hmm.
So, it's hard sometimes to understand the technology of one era if you were not part of it.
Correct.
And I remember as a child, my father had it used to be called a hi-fi. It was like this um piece of furniture that had a record player, and it had also like an 8-track player. And I could never understand how 8 tracks worked. I understand it was similar like cassettes, but 8 tracks were divided like in 4 programs, and they were like playing like a different song on each program. Like you would be listening to like a song and select like program 2, and it'll jump into the middle of another song. I
Hmm.
don't know, it was kind of weird.
Very
So
weird.
yeah, it's us trying to understand technology that we understand to other people
Hmm.
in who are contemporary with us, younger than us, but contemporary, to be able to understand technology. Just imagine, in terms of things that they know, just imagine people trying to understand things, technology from the future, or technology that was higher from them, higher
Yeah.
in the sense of being high. Um, so it's we have to understand that a lot of these descriptions in the Bible are filtered through the lens of people. Um, and with that, we have to validate that the Bible is, a library, right? It's a library of different authors, different books, different timelines, and it's subject to, mistakes, misunderstandings. Divinely inspired, yes, but um, it's also influenced by biases and how people perceive the world.
Yeah.
So, and we see different contradictions in the Bible, and that's understandable. We're humans. We're not perfect. As we know, the Bible is a collection of writings that represent what the Christian faith, belief, divinity is.
Hmm.
It was picked, chosen. The Bible wasn't facts directly from heaven. There was an active choice of scriptures. It's like, for example, if I
Hmm.
decide to do a religion on Madonna, singer Madonna, like, and I would like to have a scripture based on my love and my religion for Madonna, what would I select? Maybe a few copies of Vogue magazine, a few copies from Vanity Fair,
I
maybe
love
some
that.
emails that I send between fans, because a lot of the books in the Bible, that's what they are. They're the letters to one apostle, from one
Hmm.
apostle to the other. And I will collect everything and say, this is the book of my sacred religion of Madonna. That's what the Bible is.
Yeah.
Because a lot of different scriptures were not chosen, or that there was um an active choice of what it is. So, being filtered through the lens of humans, it was subject also to perception and, sometimes contradictions. We see
Yeah.
things, like, for example, in the Acts, right? Or how Judas died. That some books like Matthew, for example, says that Judas hanged themselves. But in Acts, it says that Judas fell and his body burst open and his intestines spilled out. You know, a same event. Or like, for example, the resurrection of Christ. Matthew said that Mary Magdalene, uh, Mary, the mother of James, and Salome were the people who were there.
Hmm.
Luke, for example, says that it was Mary, Joanna, and the mother of James. John says that it was only Mary Magdalene alone. So the
Hmm.
same event has like
Different
different
perspectives.
perspectives,
Hmm.
different facts that are stated.
Hmm.
In Genesis, for example, Genesis says that Noah, when he was loading the ark with animals, he picked a pair of each species. However,
Hmm.
that's in Genesis 6. Genesis 7 says that Noah picked 7 animals, 7 pairs of clean animals, and 2 pairs of unclean animals. So again, the same fact, 2 different versions, and this is not even from one book to another. It's just like from one chapter to another. So there's a lot
Correct.
of different contradictions. But again, when I say this, I don't mean it in a disrespectful way. Just to understand that there is the Bible is full of our perception of the world. Anything that you want to add towards that before I continue?
Mm-mm. We have more people that have popped in.
All right. Yes, let's say hi to some other people. We have Coco Chanel,
Hey, Coco,
Coco's channel,
welcome.
Coco's channel, not Coco Chanel,
You
Coco's
can call her
channel.
Chanel. I'm sure she'd love that.
Right, I'm sure she gets that mistake often.
She's such a
We,
sweetheart. She's like a sister of mine.
oh really? Hello,
Yeah.
Coco. You're my sister too. Then your sister
Yes.
Selena,
I
you're like
love
my
Coco.
sister too.
Yeah.
We have Krista 23. Hello. We have Raven Tarot Meditation. Great
Hey,
to see
Timmy.
you. Uh huh. Essence, we have Miss Tarot D. She
Hello,
says, Essence of the
Madrina.
Moon, love you,
Hmm.
dearest. She doesn't love me tonight, I guess. That's fine. Oh, she said hello to me. I'm sorry.
Ramon and
Hello, Mr.
beautiful.
Yes, and beautiful Selena.
Hmm.
Great to see you.
Although I'm sorry, guys. I'm like this. I've been working, I think I worked 121 hours in 2 weeks, so I'm exhausted. But this is how you have me tonight.
It still look beautiful. Please don't be so humble.
Thank you.
I got, yeah, yes. So we're going to explore different topics, different cases in the Bible,
Hmm.
and we're going to start with the case of Abraham and the 3 visitors. So in Genesis, it explains that Abraham was camping one day and he got a visit from 3 different visitors. Who's Abraham? Abraham is considered the patriarch of the Israelites, and he's a very key figure in not only Christianity but also Islam.
Hmm.
He's considered the father of all the descendants of the nation of Israel. And in the story, which is in Genesis 18, 1 to 5,
Hmm.
chap versicles 1 to 5, it says that the Lord appeared to Abraham in the site where he was camping, which was Mamre, I think it was called. Um, Abraham received these visitors. Just give me 1 second. Just give me 1 second. All right, I was looking for some images. So Abraham was camping and he received these 3 visitors. And the reason these 3 visitors came were to announce that they were going to destroy the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah.
Hmm.
But the story goes into saying that Abraham welcomed the visitors. He cooked food for them. Actually, his servant prepared the food. And they were telling Abraham how the city was going to get destroyed. Um, but during the visit, so Abraham saw the 3 men. He bowed, he offered hospitality, he prepared food, and the visitors predicted not only told them that the cities were going to destroy, but they also predicted that Sarah, his wife, was going to have a son despite the old age. how we interpret this. This could have been a diplomatic contact, like a team of extraterrestrials with human biological compatible bodies, um, establishing a contact with him. um, Abraham, it's at Abraham was 100 years according to the scripture. His wife Sarah was 90, and when she heard, she wasn't in her camp, and when she heard that these three men said that she was going to have a baby, the scripture said that she laughed. And they could perceive that she was laughing and why they were laughing. And uh that's where Isaac came from. Um, but it's told that these three men's were from divine origin, and they knew ahead of time and were telling Abraham what to do to be able to prevent it. So according to the scriptures, or what we understand, that could have been like one of the earlier cases of visitation coming. I know the Bible is full like stories of like
Mhm.
angels, uh, the angel of God, or angels, or visitors, and these are
Mhm.
what could be seen as contact from extraterrestrials. So ahead of time, they were giving him information of things that were to come.
So, like the sudden uncontrolled arrival could be seen as teleportation or a descent from a craft, the
Mm-hmm.
technological surveillance or timeline access with their advanced knowledge, mission-based behavior, so like non-human intelligence, goal structure. So a lot of different interpretations of that could be seen as extraterrestrial, like you just said.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. But not only extraterrestrial, but also adapted to uh, that they have a biological component, because the
Hmm.
scripture explained that they cooked a calf for these visitors, and they sat and they ate. But at the same time, they had a divine presence and a divine knowledge of things to come. Not only the destruction of the city, which was a plan, but also that his wife was going to have a son. And
Hmm.
again, this was a lady who was 90 years old, and the following year, she bore a baby, which was Isaac, who was also from whom the descendant of uh, from whom the people of Israel descended from. Very interesting, right?
Very, yeah. I mean, I never
Yes.
really looked at it this way until you. I mean, we did a little bit with Rochelle's group, but then now that
Mm-hmm.
since you discussed you wanted to have this topic, I was doing my own research and I was like mind blown. I was like, all of this makes complete sense. Like we could interpret it like this. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a really interesting topic. Yeah.
Yes, and this is us talking about the Bible, but there's like so many historical texts
Hmm.
from different civilizations. Um, the Anunnaki, for example,
Hmm.
that's a very discussed topic.
Yeah.
Description in clay tablets. These are like
Hmm.
all throughout the world, different culture. This descriptions of interaction of peoples and cultures with things higher than them, things, visitors that come from the sky on crafts that they describe, like flying serpents or
Hmm.
flying tortoises, um
Yeah. Or even
that they will
describing the
describe.
Nephilim.
Hmm.
The Nephilim, describing them, they do closely match a lot of the Anunnaki hybrid stories.
Yes, definitely. Okay, second case we're going to explore is Ezekiel's craft. And this is where the wheels within the wheels description comes. So, who was Ezekiel? Ezekiel was a prophet who was exiled in Babylon. And in the ancient words, they were describing this event as wheels rotating, assemblies, eyes all around the craft. Um, like eyes all around the craft could be sensors or lenses. And according to the description of in the Bible, it was described as a whirlwind, great cloud, fire enfolding itself, amber brightness. It describes four living creatures with four faces, four wings, and wheels full of eyes that moved in all directions. Um, and exactly what the what it's described, and I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read some of it. The scripture says in Ezekiel 1:4-28, it says, "And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out from the north, a great cloud and fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it. And out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber, out of the midst of fire. Also in the midst thereof came the likeness of four living creatures, and this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man. And their feet were straight, and the sole of their feet were like the sole of calf's foot, and they sparkled like the color of burnished brass." And it goes on describing the sound and what it looked like and how he felt and how everything around it was reacting towards this thing. And how could we describe it in modern interpretation? It could be a gyroscopic stabilization ring, um, a craft body with a pilot deck, a multi-sensor detection system, high energy. And what's interesting is that in 1974, this craft was recreated. There's a Joseph Blumrich studied Ezekiel's book and concluded that it described a sophisticated spacecraft, and it was published by Spaceships of Ezekiel, which is a book published in 1974. And basically, he described it as a omnidirectional wheel this inspired by Ezekiel's vision. And what he did, he took like all the descriptions that were in the book of Ezekiel and tried to recreate it. You know, the four living creatures, if you take a look again, that were around the craft with wings extended, and each one of the wings moved in its own direction. They try to recreate it, and this is what they came up with.
That's
It's very
amazing.
interesting. Yeah, so just imagine 1,000 years ago, someone looking at this, what would they say this is? How would they describe it? So, we have to understand that these are people they were not ignorant. They were, again, describing these things that they were seeing in terms of the world that they already knew.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Ezekiel's case is like one of the most popular ones, and referred to by a lot of people when they're talking about possible extraterrestrial interaction with people in the Bible. All right, let's go to the next one. The pillar of fire and cloud. And this is in Exodus 13:21-22. And what was happening in this story? It was between Moses and the Israelites. So as you know, the Israelites, after they departed, they escaped Egypt.
Hmm.
They were for 40 years around the desert.
Hmm.
Why 40 years? There's a story in the Bible in which when they escaped Egypt, they wanted to enter the land of Canaan. I don't know how you pronounce that in English. Um, and they sent 12 spies to be able to survey the land that they were going to occupy. The spies came back and said that there were too many strong people. God, according to the scripture, God sent those 12, told Moses to send the 12 spies to survey the land and come back in preparation to be able to invade it. The spies came back saying that there were too many giants, that they were too weak, they were not going to be able to enter the land.
Hmm.
Uh, God got angry, and because of their lack of faith in God, they punished the people of Israel to wander around the desert for 40 years. They said, because you doubted me, your generation is not going to enter the land, the promised land.
Promised
So
land. Yeah.
40 years went by, and they were just like wandering in circles around the desert. During that time, a lot of things happened. A lot of things. But during that time, according to the scriptures, during the time that they were going around the desert, they were guided at all times. At daytime by a pillar of smoke, and at
Mm.
nighttime by a pillar of fire. And
How
possible
interesting it would be
rendering.
to see that, like to me, it's
Hmm.
like mind blowing to even be able to comprehend exactly that, like those
Hmm. That
images.
Yes, that thing guiding them daytime and nighttime
Hmm.
all across the desert. And exactly the Bible in Exodus 13:21 to 22 says, "And the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of cloud and led them the way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light to go by day and night." Um, he took not away the pillar of the cloud by day, nor the pillar of fire by night before them, uh, from them before the people. And a modern interpretation, maybe during daytime, this a craft was being cloaked by clouds, and at night, it was a luminous propulsion that was this persistent escort that they were going through.
Wow.
um just imagine, like,
Oh my goodness. I'm like mind blown right now.
it's a physical representation right in front of them at all times,
Hmm.
guiding them through the desert in spite of their disobedience.
Yeah.
So, and that's right
Wow.
there in the
Incredible.
scriptures for anyone who wants to read it. You have the exact book where you can find it at.
So here I was
All right.
reading that the Sumerians'
Mm-hmm.
depictions show gods descending in cloud vehicles.
Mm-hmm. And that is exactly the next topic that I was going to, the glory
Oh,
of God
sorry.
descending. The glory of God descending. And there's so many
Mhm.
references in
Oh yeah.
the Old Testament of these events that happen. And this happened during the time that they were wandering also around the desert. Divinity, gods, their higher power, whatever they felt it was, or whatever they were seeing, were guiding them through the desert to be able to keep them safe
Hmm.
and obedient during the time they were around.
Yeah.
And you were saying about the glory
The
descending.
Sumerian depictions show gods descending in cloud vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes,
I think that's a really cool, just to even like really think about that sentence.
yes,
Show gods,
definitely.
and not just one god, it said gods
Gods,
plural.
gods.
So
Mm-hmm.
descending in cloud vehicles. So
Mm-hmm.
it's very interesting.
Yeah, we talk about
Yeah.
the Elohim. It's
Yeah.
plural, right? It's
Yeah.
not just
Miss Taro
one,
D
but
has has some responses or comments to all of this.
all right. So the glory of God descending.
Hmm.
Um, what could it look like? Something like this,
Yeah.
right? Every
Right?
time there's a description, and in this case, we're gonna talk about different examples of the glory of God descending, and one of this is on Mount Sinai. And the description that Exodus gives us, that it was fire, cloud, the mountain quaked, there was thunder, lightning. And how can we interpret this? The modern interpretation will be like some type of high energy craft touchdown, right? We have the kinetic and thermal effects of this physical object making contact, visible plasma, for example. So, in several parts of the Old Testament, it clearly explains what the glory of God was descending was, right? How can you imagine that? Like, it doesn't say God per se. It says the glory. It's like some big manifestation of something
Hmm.
coming down. And with that, there's a physical effect. So we can
Like
interpret
clouds,
that.
almost like the judgment card is what I feel
Exactly.
of the glory of
Mm-hmm.
God. When you see the angel, you see the clouds around it, the trumpet happening. To me, I see that as the judgment card.
Yes, definitely. It definitely makes sense. Um, another example of the glory of God descending. There's a description in the Bible of the great tabernacle. And what's the
Hmm.
tabernacle? It was a place in which the people of Israel, through the high priest, will establish contact with God, with the
Hmm.
divine. And just the great tabernacle is a whole topic in itself because the Bible explains the directions that God gave to the Israelites of how to construct it, and it gives like specific dimensions, what materials to use. And this was a place, like I said, to make contact with God, but it will also encase the Ark of Covenant. Well, there's a lot of discussions of what that could be. A lot of people think that it could be like some type of object with radioactive energy. That's why the high priest had to wear like a breastplate,
Hmm.
which some people interpret as maybe like some type of protection. Like the people who are X-ray technicians, they
Hmm.
have to wear like this type
Or
of
police
vest to protect.
officers who have to wear that
Mhm.
Teflon type of plate.
Exactly. So the big tabernacle, the great tabernacle, was a place in which the glory of God would descend and establish physical contact with the the Israelites, right? Um, and specifically, you can find it in Exodus 40 to 34, um, and it describes the same thing, how God would descend, and there was like thunder and sound, and that it covered the whole tent, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. And you know basically it was like a landing or sustained operation of high energy that filled the whole environment.
Hmm.
No, nothing is. I mean, it's how else could you explain? I mean,
Yeah.
in terms of like something descending, making that noise, and it happened like at different moments. One of the examples also, and this is like my favorite illustration, which I use for the thumbnail. It's Moses entering the glory, and this is in Exodus 24, and it says that this is when Moses went to the mountain and established contact, and he disappeared for 40 days and 40 nights. um and in this case, uh the Bible describes that the glory of God descended, and it was staying still for 6 days. And on the sixth day, the glory of God, his voice called Moses into the glory. And he disappeared for 40 days and 40 nights, and that's
Yeah.
where Moses actually got the 10 commandments, which were etched. Initially it was
Hmm.
etched on stones. Then he got angry when he saw how the Israelites were worshiping
This
other
the
gods. He
hmm
Yeah, the ox, the golden ox, I think it was. And he got angry and smashed it, and then he had to carve it the second time. So during the time that he was away, um, when he came back, he was described in the Bible as glowing. His hair was
hmm
different. He also came with the instructions of how to construct the great tabernacle. Um, and again, you can say, he got into the craft and he got
an abduction.
instructions. Yeah, an adoption is
Hmm.
clearly an abduction.
A
I mean, if you want to
UFO
call it like
abduction.
that, yeah, an adoption.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I don't know if yeah, adoption might be the word, but I don't know if adoption is it's properly describing it, because adoption is when it's against your will. I guess he
True.
had no other choice than just to go to the follow the voice.
Yeah.
But
But it or
he
more like a contactee experience, like being contacted by a
being
UFO, because they
contacted.
do lose
Hmm.
the time. Like for them, 1 hour can feel like 40 days. That's how
Mm-hmm.
long it is. Like when these people that are, have some type of contact with UFOs or whatever, the time completely elapses. Like it's not, it evades them time. So I
It
think with the
changes.
40 days, I think it kind of goes in hand with how
Mm-hmm.
time evaded him and he was gone for 40 days and 40 nights.
It is a physical, it is a scientific property. The
Mm-hmm.
universe, it's believed, or the theory is that it's sustained in this fabric, interlaced fabric of time space.
Yeah.
And depending how the physicality of the object is, like Earth, or it could be the moon, etc., it creates a fold in the time space fabric.
Yeah.
And the perception, the concept of time is different in all these different places. So
Yeah.
time
I
on
mean, you and
Earth,
we've had conversations about time and how it can be either overlapping or can kind of cross with other time frames.
yeah, definitely,
Mm-hmm.
definitely. So time is, I mean, time is a human construct, but
Mm-hmm.
also our perception of it has is different. And we see it in everyday life. If we talk about 10 seconds, right? 10 seconds is different in the context or the situation, and it
Mm-hmm.
seems to us like really long or really short.
Yeah.
If I tell someone Earth is going to end in 10 seconds, oh my God, it's like extremely quick. If you're
Yeah.
clicking a link on your phone to open a page and 10 seconds pass by, it's an eternity. Like,
It's
what's
like,
going
oh my
on?
gosh. Yeah.
Yes.
It took
So,
forever to open up the next page when really it's not forever. It was 10 seconds.
yeah. So, our
Or
perception
you're
of time is.
driving and out of nowhere you get home and you're like, how the
Mhm.
heck did I drive 20 minutes? Not knowing that I stopped at a light, that I let a car pass in front of me, that I, stopped at the intersection, and all of a sudden you're home. So again, that's another one where your time can vary because of whatever mental state you're in as well.
Yeah, definitely. Or the concept of a year. Like every year we feel that a year goes by quicker, you know.
Like
Every
we're in
year we're
November. How the heck did November already
yes.
happen?
Mm-hmm. And we're always busy. I mean,
Hmm.
I've been a busy person since a young age. But I
Yeah.
remember when I was 20 years old, 15 years old, a year was such a long time. But now in my 50s, and I'm proud to say it, um, uh, a year is a 50th of this whole time that I've been here. Whereas
Hmm.
maybe when I was 5 years old, a year was a fifth of my whole life. So the
Correct.
perception of that unit, which is a year, is different. And every
Correct.
year feels that it goes quicker. And a year is
And
still
quicker and
365
quicker.
days. And we're always busy and caught off in our things. But again, like that example of the 10 seconds, our perception of a year changes as well. You know,
So
so I think it's
Bridget, Fabled Witch, said Selena's holding back to say she's 44. LOL. Thanks,
yeah.
Bridget.
I mean, yo, I'm proud to say that I'm 52 years old. And I
Yeah.
say that because I feel that I'm still in my 30s, maybe in my late 20s mentally.
It's a
I know
mindset. Yeah.
it's a mindset, but also I feel blessed that I made it this far.
Hmm.
Throughout my life, I met people who left us at a very young age, different situations. And being able to experience life still at this point, feeling loved, loving people, having my parents being, knock on wood, healthy, no health problems. I feel
Yeah.
it's a blessing, and I'm
Miss
proud to
Tarot
say
D
that I'm
said, wow, Ramon is 50. I didn't realize how much older he was than me.
right. I say, yes. Yes, she's younger and looks much younger than me
Yeah.
in every way. Miss Tarot.
Hey, Bill, welcome.
Hi, Bill. Great to see you.
Hmm.
Yeah, so we've discussed several topics already, several examples, and we'll jump to our next one.
I love
And
this
and this
next one.
this is in the New Testament, and this is the
Yeah.
Star of Bethlehem.
Yep.
And as we all know, and we're getting close to Christmas, the
Yep.
story of the Star of Bethlehem, it's this star that the three wise men were following, and the star was guiding them to the point of where baby Jesus was. And specifically in Matthew, it says, and when they heard the king, they departed, and the star which they saw in the east went before them till it came and stood over where the young child was. And when they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. And what's the modern interpretation? It could have been this guided vehicle or this beacon that was precisely taking them to where baby Jesus was.
Yeah.
What star moves? I mean, it's we see celestial bodies move as we move, but this was a deliberate direction or guidance from one point to another.
I
You
think
know,
this is like the epitome of a UFO description between the
right?
change in direction, the hovering, the descendant, guide travel routes. I mean, orb craft, light ship, plasma sphere, dimensional beacon. Like to me, it is the epitome of what a UFO would be.
Definitely, definitely. And we have to understand the descriptions in the Bible. Again, it describes what they perceive the world as. And we're talking backstage. When I was a child, I was raised in the Pentecostal faith, and I used
Mhm.
to love reading the Bible, especially the book of Revelations. I was always fascinated by like all these crazy events that would happen, and
Yeah.
it was so I don't know, it was like a mystery
The
book, like
horsemen
a
and
kind of like
everything. And that probably
yes,
real, I
yes.
mean, all of the stories really kind of scared me because they were so intense.
Yes, yes, especially and what clicked to me to realize that a lot of these things they were explaining it in terms of their world or a metaphorical sense were things like, for example, and it says, "And behold, I saw a star fall to earth." And like no star could really fall to earth, right?
No.
Because what are stars? Our sun is a star, and that will like swallow the whole earth right there.
Yeah.
But so they were explaining this thing that was falling as a star. We even say like shooting stars, but that's more like a,
Hmm.
a, a phrase that we culturally use when something in the sky that it's brilliant is moving. But when I read that, and maybe I was like, I don't know, 7 years old, it kind of like clicked. And then on top of that, my dad used to go to theology school, a school of like studying the Bible in depth. He had a whole collection of books, and one of the books that he had that I have to say changed my life was Chariot of the Gods by Eric Van Daniken. And I still have the old 1976 copy it is that my father had that I used to read as a child. I still have it in my possession. And that
Wow.
book like opened my whole view about the Bible and extraterrestrials and the perception and the experience of a lot of different cultures with other beings.
Wow.
And yes, and this show, Ancient Aliens, is based on this book. Remember, I've been watching Ancient Aliens since it first started. It used to be like a pilot. The first one was like sort of like a pilot special of 2 hours. Um, that would talk about the book and experience of different cultures, and then they expanded it into a show with a lot of different series and topics. But that book was pivotal in changing my view of the Bible, not necessarily as a spiritual book, which I still respect as,
Hmm.
but a historical account of things not only happening in their culture, but interaction with celestial beings.
Wow. I'd
Yes.
never really, that's really interesting, especially that
Mm-hmm.
book.
Yeah.
Chariot
Chariot
of
of
what?
the Chariot of the Gods is a really popular book. It's been translated like I don't know, like 50 different languages. Is by Eric Van Daniken. He He is a religious man. He still believes in God, but he's also I think he's an anthropologist. He was a professor. He might be retired by now, but that book is amazing, and it talks about I think it's in
Really cool.
Palenque. Yeah, in Palenque, there's this tomb from the Mayan civilization, and the tomb of this king depicts what seems to be like a rocket. This person going into a rocket, and you can see like the planks and everything, and it's that that image is depicted in the book. And the book is fascinating. It was very controversial, especially
Oh, I'm
like in the
sure. Yeah.
70s, to be able to compare the Bible and extraterrestrial beings and things like that. But
Yeah.
you know
YouTube has or not YouTube, Amazon has the book for 1488 paperback, 1519 for hardback.
yes,
So I'm
Chariot
going to
of the
post
Gods.
this in
Hmm.
the chat here.
It's worth reading if you're interested in the topic, the overlap of the Bible and extraterrestrials.
Hmm.
Start from there because it's fundamental. All right,
Very
next
cool. Yeah.
case. Yes. So next case is the case of Sodom and Gomorrah,
Yep.
and in this story, it talks about the destruction of two cities. Like I mentioned before, three visitors went to Abraham to announce that they were going to destroy the city. And in the city, there was this family, and this man, his name was Lot, Lot,
Hmm.
and he was warned before the destruction of the city that both cities, Sodom and Gomorrah, were going to be destroyed. Why was the city being destroyed? It's not like a lot of people say that these were two cities that engage in homosexuality. No, it was the wickedness of the city. There was like a, a lot of horrible things happening there, and the discuss of the crimes and the degradation that happened in these cities
Hmm.
got to the presence of the Lord, of God, of the people above, that they decided just to like annihilate the whole city. Um, and the story, visitors came to Lot. Lot was, in fact, actually the nephew of Abraham, to warn him because he was like the only person in the city, him and his family, who were like uh, just in the eyes of God. They came to warn him the city's going to be destroyed. You gotta go. And they gave him instructions: leave the city, leave everything behind, don't look back, just go forward. So on the moment that they were escaping, Lot's wife stopped and stayed behind to look as the city as it was destroyed. And according to the scriptures, she turned into a pillar of salt.
Hmm. So
If you
flash
look back,
combustion.
yes, yes. And if you look back, this seems to be like a destruction of nuclear power, to the point that it reached to her, it it killed her, and she could have, like a lot of like things that are destroying. There's videos online of how a nuclear destruction happens. This old footage from the 50s, it turns everything in ash. you know so it seems to me like she was just like the standing figure of ash that was just like vaporized. All her like body was vaporized. She turned into, it's described as a pillar of salt. Of course, our body is salt also,
Hmm.
but it was a pillar of ash. And by the description of how the event happened, it seems to be that it was a nuclear destruction. And
But
that's
then
right there in
again, you'd
Genesis
realize
13.
that a meteor wouldn't give you like advance warning to evacuate your family. You
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't have
True.
the meteor give you an advance warning like the angels did.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. If it was a meteor, you say?
Hmm.
Yeah. It wouldn't
Because they
give you
don't give
like.
you advance warnings that it's coming. They didn't have the technology to be able to see those coming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the knowledge to be able to like
Hmm.
track these
Technology or
objects.
knowledge to track them like we do
Hmm.
now.
Yes, definitely. I totally agree. All right, so let's go to the next case, and we're talking about Elijah's extraction. Da-da-da-da. And Elijah was taking it just by a craft, according to the scripture. Is a only person who's never seen death, and it's described in Second of Kings 2:11. It says that a chariot of fire Elijah was taken up by a whirlwind, and there was nobody left. He was just taken. It was like a vertical retrieval, the craft that extracted Elijah. And specifically, it says in the book of Kings, the second book of Kings, it says, "And it came to pass, as they were still on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven." Like I said, what's the modern interpretation? Was a vertical retrieval or an adoption extraction scenario that happened right there.
Such a cool image.
Why? Right? Why? Who knows? I feel that a lot of these people who were taken or were chosen, to have like descendants, and you know, maybe there was like some DNA manipulation. Maybe they have like the proper, I don't know, physical composition to be able to ensure the healthy descendants of the rest of humanity.
Oh, I didn't think about it like that. Yeah, that makes
Hmm.
sense.
Yeah. Well, they're
Hmm.
talking about like Israel being the chosen people. What was so special about them? If they were like, if according to the scriptures, God created everyone and there was already cultures all around. What was so special about them? Maybe they were genetically engineered superior to be able to repopulate or populate Earth. Who knows?
Interesting.
Hmm. All right, and the last case that we will talk. Look, there's like so many
There
cases
is.
in the Bible of contact and technology and things that were described that clearly, or they could be interpreted as extraterrestrials. This is a topic for like many shows.
Oh,
That's why Ancient
totally.
Alien is still airing because
Yeah.
it's not just in cases of the Bible, but different cultures, and
Yeah.
maybe in the
Culture
future we can do
parallels
a definitely, definitely.
between the
The last,
Sumerians, the Indian with the Vedic texts, and so forth. There's so much
oh
there's
yeah,
so much to
the
interpret.
Mah the Mahabharata, it
Hmm.
explains the same thing. Like
Even the Native
flying
Americans with the
chariots.
star people, the
Hmm.
Mesoamericans. There's so many different ways to interpret these types of texts.
Yeah, totally. Um, the last case we're going to talk about is about mana. And what is mana? It was the substance that
Hmm.
the Israelites will pick up, um, that the Lord will give them to sustain. Again, this happened during the time that they were in exile, in the 40 years that they were walking around the desert. And what is mana? It was this miraculous food that they will eat for 40 years. They will call it the bread of heaven. And what did it look like? It looked like it was white. It looked like coriander seed that tasted like honey wafers, and that's according to Exodus. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me change the banner. Oh, I didn't prepare a banner for this one. Doesn't matter. So it's on Exodus 16:31. It describes exactly what manna looked like and tasted like, and what was the function. It was to sustain the Israelite daily. It was gathered daily, and it was prohibited to pick up for the next day. It was something that the Lord will provide to the Israelites. That
Hmm.
it will come up in the morning with the dew. There it was. You will eat it, and it had to be collected daily. If you try to save it to the next day, it will rot. The only day that you were able to save it was in Sabbath, before Sabbath. You will pick up the day before, double portion, because the Sabbath, according to the Jewish tradition, you can't work, you can't do anything. It's the day for resting. So it was permitted to pick it up before Sabbath. Who knows? Maybe
Wow.
the extraterrestrials added some type of preservative so it will last longer. But for 40
Mm-hmm.
years, that was their food. Um, at first, the Israelites, especially the ones who recently left Egypt, hated it, but they were tired of it, and
Yeah, I
they
remember
got in
that.
conflict with God because they were saying, "Oh, we're much better in Egypt. We could eat meat, and you took us to the desert. We're in the desert eating this thing."
For 40
And of course,
years,
for 40 years, yes. And there's
eating
like some
only manna. Can you imagine?
yes, eating this white wafer that tastes like honey. But it sustained them. And there's a show in Ancient Aliens that talks specifically about mana. They talk about the mana machine because there's a description of like this technology from which they could like save mana or make like extra mana for Sabbath. It's something like that. But it's believed that it was some type of algae with a nutrient that can sustain life. And there's like
Mr. OD called
it's
it alien protein bars.
it could be, yeah, definitely. It had all the elements necessary. Just imagine being in the desert, like dehydrated all the time because it's not like you can find water around the desert.
Mm-mm.
So it definitely had to have the right combination of salts and potassium so you don't dehydrate,
Yeah.
um protein,
Mm-hmm.
carbohydrates, specially engineered for being in the desert.
Yeah.
Simple as that. you
So
know
definitely alien protein bars, Miss Tarot D.
there you go. That was perfect example, and it with
Yeah.
honey flavored. So yeah, so I hope throughout the show I presented you with some interesting cases of what could be looked
You did.
as
Yes, you did. Definitely.
as cases of
Yeah.
extraterrestrial intervention.
Mm-hmm.
They again, they explained it in the way they could. For them, these were miraculous events. Being extraterrestrial or not, you know, um, in this modern world in which we see
Mm-hmm.
things different, the message here is never lose the magic. Always believe that miracles are possible. Doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter the source that they come from. And here there is a message of faith as well, that the divine, whatever shape it is here to protect us, to guide us, to be at our side, and that we're not alone. We have each other and we have divinity, whichever form it takes, whichever your belief is, they're here to guide us through the hand, through this path, which is the physical earth, to transcend into the beyond.
Yeah, definitely. Nicely said, Ramon. Thank you so much for joining us on and with this incredible topic. This is something that I've thought about recently with, how I mentioned with Rochelle's show, but never really had anyone to really chat with about it besides that group. So it was nice
Mm-hmm.
to have a different perspective, see your perspective on it as well.
Totally, totally.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for everyone. So this was awesome. I'm so happy you all
Lila.
enjoyed it. Yes, and someone says Eric Van Daniken went on the Irish Grand. What? Are you kidding me?
How did you miss that, Ramon?
How did I what?
Were you in
I
Mexico at
gotta
that
go
time?
back. I don't
And look
know,
for
but I
it.
did not know that. That's like Madonna coming to my show. Like, what the hell?
Why don't you invite
I
him on
gotta
your show? Reach out to him.
Oh my god, yes. That'll be like an awesome episode of Behind the Moon. Just having him, the three of us chatting with him. Oh
Yeah,
my
bring
goodness,
bring him
that
on.
he is a legend. Krista, thank you very much.
Thank you.
thank you everybody for your support, for
Yeah.
still hanging around. There's still
For
24
Irma,
people
Miss Tarot
watching.
D, Coco, Swampy, Roman.
Oh, Roman's
Thank you
here.
all. Mm-hmm.
Hello. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
And
Madrina.
what's coming
Red
up with you,
Eagle,
Selena?
thank you. Bridget, I mean, so many in here. Thank you all for sticking around
Yes.
and getting the chat moving and conversing with everybody.
Yes. You got anything coming up?
I do not. I have been like resting, guys. I've had other shows that I've had planned, like my interviewing and stuff with other people, and I'm so busy and I just do not have time to do that. Like I barely have time to do this show. Hence why I look like this. But I've been
Mm,
working so much and then school has been really busy. So I've been really busy with school. You know, I've been writing 2 papers for my abnormal psychology class every weekend and with normal topic discussions throughout the week. So, and exams on the weekend. It's been very busy, guys. Very busy.
mm-hmm. I hear you. I can
Yeah.
totally relate to that.
Yeah,
But
you too.
sometimes we
You're
have to
always
like
busy too.
too much, too much. But
Yeah.
this for me, this is a therapy. Sharing with people in the
Yeah.
community, going live. I
Yeah.
should force myself a little bit more often to do it. But the important thing
Yeah.
is not the quantity, it's the quality. And
Yep.
being here was
I mean, you had a really
awesome.
good one with Roman a couple nights ago. That was a really great show.
That was a great show. Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
It was great to
definitely. That was
learn
a
more about Roman. Even though I knew a lot of the stuff that he said, it was nice to be able to sit there and listen to him talk to you about it and re-listen to his stories again.
mm-hmm.
So
Definitely,
it
definitely.
was a really great show.
Yes,
And
thank you.
Roman,
And to
he's another up and coming guy in our community. And, thank you also, Soul Reflection. She's still in the chat. Nadine, the one from the deck. She just said great show. So thank you for sticking around and listening to this conversation. But yeah, the live with Roman was phenomenal. Definitely check him out, guys, if you don't already follow him. And subscribe to Ramon's channel if you're not already subscribed to him. And he does a lot of walkthroughs and his interpretation of the major arcanas through music and his interviews with In Orbit. So he has a lot of great
Mhm.
stuff on his channel if you guys don't already follow him.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I
Yeah.
have a show called In Orbit with, and I interview
Mm-hmm.
people from the community,
Yeah.
people who are deck creators, people who have channels,
Mm-hmm.
people who don't have channels. It's just a conversation about, learning a little bit more about people's spiritual path. There's always something to learn,
Yeah.
and trying to give people a platform in which they could get to be known a little bit more, connect with other wonderful people
Correct. We all have a
in the
story. We
community.
all have a different story. We all have different levels of abilities. How we read is different. No two people read the same way, even though there's the same, typical, this is what the 78 cards mean. People, different people interpret them differently as well as using your intuition. So we're all very different in our community and we all have something important to bring to this community.
Definitely. And there's so many
Yeah.
people who I want to interview. One of them is here, Bridget.
Yes,
We
Bridget.
haven't
I can't
connected
wait.
yet. And I declare I'm not gonna do another in orbit with until I get Bridget. Bridget has to be my next one whenever that is.
Oh,
So
Bridget. That's going to
we
be a
have
good
to do
one. But I
it.
love everybody
um,
that you've had on there. Like it's been, I mean, I was on there as well. I was with you. So
hmm
Bill was on there. Miss Tara
Yeah.
D was once upon a time, a year ago, maybe.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Miss
So
Tarody was my first one. Was my
really
first guest. Yeah. I had Simon
nice.
from the Hermit's Cave. I
Mm-hmm.
had Ginger,
Yeah.
Nancy,
Nancy,
Jeff,
Viviani.
Bill, Viviani. Yeah, so
Yeah.
far I had like 30 guests throughout
Lennon. I think you had Lennon
this
Smith on
time.
there.
No, I haven't had her yet. I
No, I
want
thought
to have
you,
her. Did I?
unless she did some other show with you. I know she's
No,
been on your
no. No, she hasn't been. She's another guest that I want to get.
Really? Okay.
Uh-huh. Yes, yes. There's so many people, I'm telling you.
Oh, I
This like
know. I'm the
this
same way
show
with
will
me
run
just
for a
now
long time.
starting to interview people. I've had I had Bridget was first, and then Miss Tara D. I have, Sophie the Midwest Magician coming on, I think not until December because we're so busy. And my schedule is so busy with work and school and early rituals here. Hey Tom. So it's
Hey,
nice
Tom.
to
Tom was in my show too. I
Nice.
interviewed
Yeah,
Tom
Tom and
too.
I have been trying to get together to do a live on going over the Baphomet Tarot deck from Travis McHenry. I don't know what happened, Tom.
Mm.
You never messaged me back when you were available.
Hmm.
He says, "Hey, I'm still alive." But yeah, it's just, but we're all busy. We all have life. He went MIA on Selena. Yeah, you did. You ghosted me.
Hmm.
It's okay,
Yes.
Tom. I know. I mean, I've been very, very busy.
Yes.
So, and
So
I've had to
we gotta
cancel a
do it.
couple other shows.
Yeah. We gotta do it's late. I have to wake up at 3 a.m.
Yep.
But we have to do another show. I would love to do like readings using either extraterrestrial theme decks, and
Yeah,
I
totally.
have a
Because I
few of
brought some
them.
extraterrestrial decks today. Should we
Hmm.
do a final reading for the night?
Yeah, why not? A
Okay.
collective. Let's do a
Yeah, let's
collective.
do a collective reading.
Hmm.
I'm going to
Okay.
use an oracle deck, Mystic Martian Oracle, since we're discussing that,
Okay.
which is a fun. It's from Rock Pool. It's such a fun deck. Um, I also have the Biblical Tarot, which can probably be my tarot card to go with it. So
Okay. I'm using, let's
Ah,
see, I have
Golden
three.
Roman says Selena is from another planet.
I have like this extraterrestrial oracle, which I got a while ago. Images are beautiful.
Yes,
Has like
Krista, there is.
messages.
Biblical Tarot is
There
a,
is a
Christian
biblical.
Bible deck. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So
I
it's a
my
really,
copy
it's a
I
really
got
good
from
deck.
you.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. You gifted me
Mm-hmm.
that deck. I have a I have two UFO Lenormands. I have an alien Lenormand which you gifted me, which is
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. And the one I got tonight is it's a UFO one. It has like flying saucers all around.
Ooh, that's a cool one.
Yeah, it's a really
I
cool
also
one.
have
Yeah,
this one, the
well,
Galactic Star Tarot, which is really good. It's from Hay House. I know a
that's
lot of people
beautiful.
have this one. Yeah.
Clover. Yes, I've
Yeah.
seen that one. And then I have this one. It's a UFO tarot from Los Scarabeo. It's a really old one.
You sent me a Etsy version of that, didn't you?
I did,
Yeah,
right?
I use that for
Yes, yes.
my when I'm making my my oils for my coffee shop. I
Mm-hmm.
use that deck because I always incorporate tarot with my oils when I'm making them. I always put tarot
Mm-hmm.
cards around them with the energy of the tarot card and a candle of some sort and my oils that I'm making. So I always add like tarot cards. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a deck I use.
Yes.
Hmm.
Beautiful. All right. Let's see. All right. So I pulled two cards for the collective. Um, the first one is the Mountain from Lenormand, and this is a card that talks about difficulties, obstacles, things in our path that seem big, seem difficult, seem challenging, but these are not impossible. Whatever the mountains are that are in our path, we face these every day. We face these all the times, but these are sometimes like that exercise that life or the divine gives us to prove ourself our strengths. A lot of times we face them and we say, no, I can't do this. And in moments like that, that's when I go the quickest into it. Things that I fear, I go head on. Why? Because it helps me overcome it. and it helps me realize my strength and how strong I am, not only mentally but also emotionally. And that's for everyone. I'm not talking just about myself. You're much stronger than you believe. And precisely that is the second card I pulled. And it says, you are stronger than you think. So always
Wow.
remember, in face of uncertainty, of fear, you are much stronger than you think. You can tap into, whether it's collecting with your divine guides, whichever brings you strength, but more than anything, tap into your own strength. You have much more to give. You have so much you can overcome. Just have a little bit more faith in yourself. That's what I got for you.
Wow. So I got from my biblical tarot, I got the devil, and it's Satan tempting humans to sin. Look at that card, guys.
Mm, amazing. I love the skulls.
Me too. Isn't that a beautiful card? And then from my Mystic Martians, I got Pleiadians, unconditional love, excitement, and laughter. So this is such an odd combination.
Mm,
But I'm seeing this as, with the Pleiadians and the devil together, I see this as like you're breaking out of an old fear, an attachment, or limiting pattern with the devil card. But I also see that your light is rising and your shadow is struggling to keep grip on who you are, on what you're trying to put out there into the world, into our own planet. Um, but I think this is definitely a card that's saying, this combination is definitely letting you know that you are leveling up, that you are going from releasing these shackles and the temptations to this Pleiadian energy of unconditional love, excitement, and laughter. So that's how
mm,
I'm seeing these two, but it's just a reminder to choose the higher perspective, choose joy, and don't let the chains of doubt stop you from elevating to this card right here. So that's my message for you
mm-hmm.
guys.
Beautiful. And similar
Yeah,
message, it's about
yeah,
facing your fears. Don't
yeah.
let don't let it block your path.
Hmm.
Just go
Don't
forward.
let it restrict you and chain you down into this card right here with the devil card,
Hmm.
like that whole
Beautiful.
image right there.
Beautiful.
So
Beautiful.
yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful message.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so says Miss Charlie. Thank you both.
Oh, thank
Beautiful.
you.
We're synced. Yes, we're synced.
Hmm.
We had so many experiences that way.
Yeah, I know. Past lives together.
Totally.
Yeah.
All right. So, everybody, again, thank you for joining us. Thank you for your beautiful energy, your interaction. Thank you for spending your time with us tonight, exploring this topic.
Yeah.
Next show, you will have Bobby back again.
Yep. We
And
haven't
hopefully,
discussed the
I'll be,
topic yet, so yeah.
yeah, and hopefully, I can join both of them in a future show. Um, uh, here
Definitely.
behind
You're
the
always
moon.
welcome. You don't even have to ask. You can just say, "Hey, what's the link? Let me get in."
Just crashed the show.
Just
Yo, I'm
crash it. You
here.
can crash anytime you want.
Yes.
Anytime. We'll send you the link
Mhm.
whenever.
Thank you very much. And
Yeah.
everybody, again, thank you very much. Blessings to all and have a good night.
Good night, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, wait a second. I left the banner. I can't leave like this. All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night,
Blessings. Bye.
everybody. Bye.
All right. I'm still lingering.
Yeah,
Bye.
you're fine. He doesn't want to leave.
No, I still